On this, let's bring in the chairman of the Republican National Committee. Michael Whatley is here. A lot to talk about with this gentleman. Sir, good to have you with us.
It's good to be on with you, Vince.
They're mad at you. They're mad that you're sharing videos of the president in public, sir.
Look, I got to be honest with you. I get upset by those videos, too, because every time we see one of them, it just reminds the world how weak America is under Joe Biden's leadership. Look, I mean, when you have major international news organizations putting out videos for it, it's pretty tough to call them cheap fakes.
Yeah, I mean, so the claim that reporter made and that Karine Jean-Pierre, confirmed, I guess, is, that video was edited. It was. I saw the RNC accounts sharing these videos this weekend. I didn't see any edits in them. Were there edits in those videos?
Not at all. I mean, we're literally taking the raw footage and we're putting it back up and amplifying it back out there. Look, I mean, the fact is that the president, has caused concern not just here but among our allies. I mean, we saw a number of different news stories talked about how the world leaders at the G7 were expressing shock and concern over, his physical well-being, the fact that he skipped a dinner. I mean, these are not things that we're making up. At the same time, we spent, 4 days on a West Coast swing with Donald Trump, where he was, raising $32.5 million and doing public events in Phoenix and Los Angeles. This last week, he was doing a major, black roundtable at a historic black church in Detroit before appearing, before the Turning Point Action Conference. That one candidate is clearly setting the pace for the party and for his campaign, that being Donald Trump, and one candidate who is really, truly having a hard time, getting off the stage at a fundraiser.
And then 10 days from now, we've got that debate between the two of them, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, sitting together inside of a CNN studio in Atlanta. That'll be moderated by Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. I'm looking at the rules that have just been released this weekend, Michael Whatley, for this debate. Again, 90 minutes. It'll have 2 commercial breaks. Both candidates will be at uniform podiums. They'll be standing. Podium positions will be determined by coin flip. Microphones set to be muted during the debate when the candidate's not up, when it's not their turn. No props or pre-written notes allowed, but they will be given a pen and a pad of paper and a bottle of water. No studio audience. I see some lefty commentators today admitting that this is really built for Joe Biden's advantage, all of it. What do you make of this debate, and what should we expect from it?
Well, as President Trump said, he would take any debate anywhere on any platform in order to be able to show the American people the difference between these two men. And, it is very telling that all of these advantages that they're trying to build in there for Joe Biden, President Trump is like, fine, just let's go have this conversation, because you have 2 absolutely full terms ready to go in terms of your proof points, right? So we've got 4 years under President Trump. What was he able to accomplish, and the strength that he showed in the U.S. economy and on the world stage versus the weakness of Joe Biden. And we're not going to be able to have that conversation presented to the American people in any format better than a debate. And, if Joe Biden is able to stand at that podium for 90 minutes without notes and have a conversation with the American people, great. But even if he is, he's not going to be able to tell them the economy is strong. He's not going to be able to tell them that the border is secure, and he's not going to be able to tell them that we're in a great place internationally.
I do think that the reason you're hearing some panic from the White House today about all of these videos going around of Biden is not because you and I have noticed, Michael Whatley, but because their own base is beginning to notice. And I do wonder to what extent, we'll talk to Charlie Spearing coming up here in a few minutes from the Daily Mail. He's got some reporting on this subject. But I do wonder to what extent you think Joe Biden really will be the nominee come Election Day. Do you think there's some chance he won't be?
Look, I think if there is any way for him to be the nominee, he's going to be the nominee. The Democratic Party is going to have to take a unbelievably serious change of pace to be able to make that change. And, Jill Biden, who's handling these issues for the president, is pushing very, very aggressively for him to remain on the ticket. So, I think that if you are the Democrats, you're running out of time. I mean, they're going to have this roll call vote next month before their convention to be able to ensure that he's on the ticket in Ohio.
Yes.
So if you're going to make a change, they're really truly running out of time.
By the way, that roll call vote, they're going to do that virtually, as I understand it. That means that the convention that they'll hold later in the year is basically going to be a fake convention. There's not going to actually be a real official vote there, is there?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing, and I know that they also are very concerned about having too many people in the hall or too much going on because they're worried about the riots, which again goes right back to the weakness that Joe Biden puts on the table. The reason they're having riots is because of his positioning around the world and causing the chaos in the Middle East that he has, and the fact that he has supported policies to defund the police, and they're worried about the safety of all of the Democratic, activists and folks that are going to be at their convention.
You've been on this job for a few months now, sir. Michael Whatley, the RNC chairman, is on the phone with us, and in that time frame, you and the co-chair there, Laura Trump, have made it really clear that your focus is on election integrity. Lots of questions, I think, among especially Republican voters about how free and fair the 2024 election will be. What efforts are you undertaking right now to ensure it is?
Yeah, so we've got two major initiatives that we're pushing. One of them is what we have to do before Election Day, and that is to get the right rules of the road in place in every state. So we want the laws, the rules, the regulations that govern elections to ensure that they're going to be fair and accurate, secure and transparent. So we want only American citizens to vote. We want voter ID in place. We want to make sure that states are cleaning up their voter rolls. And if states are going to have early absentee, or mail-in balloting, you've got to have protections in place. Things like witness requirements, signature requirements. We don't want those ballots going into drop boxes. We want them going into U.S. postal boxes. And so we're working with legislatures, governors, and boards of elections, secretaries of state, wherever we can, and we're going to court wherever we can't. We filed 91 lawsuits already in 25 different states around the country to make sure we have the rules in the right way. The second thing that we're doing is we are focusing on being in the room. It's absolutely critical for us to have lawyers and observers in the room anytime that a vote is being cast or a vote is being counted. And in order to kind of build up national awareness of what we're doing, we've built a website, protectthevote.com, where people can go onto the website, sign up, get trained, and get deployed to be part of our election integrity team. And then we're also doing a series of workshops around the country to make sure that people are aware of all that we're doing and signing up for it. So we're going to be working this workshop series. We kicked it off last week up in Detroit, Laura Trump and I, and we're going to be doing one in North Carolina this week. We're going to be doing one in Philadelphia. We're going to be up in New York, out on Long Island, doing one, and we're going to be coming to a city near you, basically as part of this national tour. We're calling it a protectthevote.com tour to make sure that everybody is aware that we need to have the people in the room when votes are being cast and being counted.
Have you had good response so far? Do you have people signing up to be poll watchers?
Absolutely. People are coming out of the woodwork. People understand what happened in 2020 cannot ever happen again. And the only way that we can really, truly prevent that from happening is being there. We need to make sure that we get out the vote. We need to make sure that we are turning out voters in every battleground state, states like Virginia. But we also need to make sure that the sanctity of the vote is protected, and that people trust the system. They trust that their vote is going to count, that it's not going to be flipped, that it's not, going to be outweighed by illegal immigrants voting, things along those lines. And when we get that done, it will have a big impact on our turnout. But I'll tell you, our number one priority at the RNC right now for both me and Laura is making sure that we're protecting the vote.
We had Congressman Andy Biggs on a few minutes ago, and we were talking to him about a New York Post report this weekend indicating that 49 American states provide voter registration forms to everybody, including illegal aliens, that they don't require proof of citizenship as they hand out these voter registration forms. Give us a sense of your concern here, Michael Whatley, and what can be done to prevent so many millions of illegals from interfering in our election?
Yeah, this is a huge concern of ours. I mean, look, it is illegal in all 50 states for an illegal alien to register to vote. It is absolutely against the law right now. We understand that the Biden administration is pushing every state to provide voter registration information to anyone who comes in to get benefits, including illegals. They should not be doing that. So we are pushing very hard against the Biden administration. The House Government Affairs Committee just issued subpoenas against all 15 federal departments and agencies that are engaged in these activities, pushing it right now. We're pushing back at the state level with every single state, telling them it is illegal for you to register these people to vote. Don't do it. What we need to have everybody do that's listening to your show, folks all across Virginia and every state, frankly, is one, sign up at protectthevote.com to find out more about what's going on. And two, they need to reach out to their legislators and their governors and their secretaries of state and tell them, make sure that you're not registering illegal aliens to vote.
Right, and the state attorneys general, too, to get some lawsuits fired up against the Biden administration, get some injunctions in place ahead of Election Day. I mean, there's a lot of effort to be undertaken here. I know you're all over it. Michael Whatley, thank you very much for your time today. We'll have to have you back again soon as this election continues, sir. Thank you very much.